Hey fisherman, Aqua Duelist here, and today you guys an update to my worm deck. Now I know it's been like 2 months almost since I've done a update to this deck, but I was able to get my hands on just more, excuse me, cards just kind of help it out, and really just push the deck, and done some pretty drastic changes. Honestly, like even though the deck hasn't fully changed, the changes I've done are just very impactful to the deck. And I felt like honestly I should probably do another update to this because at this current point in time, I feel like this is just the best that Worms can really get right now. Unless they get, good support, or we get like a new, whether like direct support, I mean, or we get like some new like insane um, normal trap card, something as impactful as like infinite impermanence. I don't think this deck's gonna get any better. Just like with all honesty, just gotta say it. As much as I love Worms, there's just a lot of better trap decks out there, like Altergeist, Traptrixs, Eldlich, obviously. They're just better than Worms. But yeah, still love Worms regardless. Love the whole trap decks and such. So before we jump into it, guys, please make sure y'all are putting that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. A lot of the views that I get on my channel are actually from non-subscribers, so helps out a ton. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. So right off the bat, going to the Worm lineup, playing 3 copies of Worm X when he summons, normal summons. We get the Foolish Burial, our Worm Yeggen right here. And when X or Yeggen's on the field, X can't be destroyed by battle. So yeah. Now Worm Yeggen here, when he's in the grave, and if the only monster we control is Worm X, we can special summon face down defense position. When he's flipped face back up, he is basically a Compulse. So that's pretty cool. What sucks is he's not a freaking flip monster. Like, that's so stupid. And it's just there's times where the fact that he's not just, kind of screws him over. So, Konami, like, I don't know what the frick you guys were thinking there, but that's some shit. Y'all need to fix that. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Worm Kartos, or, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. I just call him Worm C Mothman because, like, he looks like a Mothman. He's actually scary looking, so yeah. He's a flip monster, and when he's flipped up, you can outworm from deck to hand, so that's pretty freaking cool. He's here for the consistency, and him with the traps are really freaking good. Get some insane pluses, and then we play 2 Worm King. It's the boss monster of the deck, so you basically get to tribute a worm you control and pop a card your opponent controls. One of the things I found funny with him is the fact that he says select, which in current today that means target, but if you actually look on the Konami database, they actually never updated like the text, so that's just something weird I thought I'd point out. But yeah, he targets, so yeah. It'd be better if he was a quick effect, just sadly he's not. Yeah. And then we play 1 copy of Worm Tentacles here. Banish Worm from grave, he can attack twice, just helps go for the game, and it comes up. So that's why I play him at 1. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Pretty low count, but that's just kind of what you have to do with Worms. So going to spells, this is where some of the the big changes come in. 3 copies, Pot of Extravagance, literally the best freaking draw card for Worms. Don't really go into the extra deck too much. We kind of do, but I basically built the extra deck to play around this. So yeah, just really freaking good. The draw 2 is nice. Also now playing 3 copies of Pod Duality. I absolutely have a weird relationship with this card. I hate it, but I also kind of love it. But in the current build, I found that 3 of these is just optimal. pretty freaking good. I don't know. I just had this like thing for a long time where I'd basically use this and get the X and kind of just send the egg in, and I'm not able to special summon the egg in, but with what we got this built, it kind of that doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, it is what it is. We kind of have to play it now though. So, and then we play one copy of the card demise. I wish this card was back at 3 because like that would just be absolutely insane for this deck and just make it much more stronger. But card demise, at 1 kind of sucks. But you basically get to draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, and then the end turn you have to discard them to the grave. So yeah, that kind of that doesn't really matter because you're basically just going to draw it and save it for whenever you get low on resources. That's pretty nice. So yeah, 7 draw cards. All honesty, pretty good. Kind of have to do it with this deck just because it's just so slow. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Worms really do need all like just the how do we say this? Like the draw power it can really get. And I've honestly kind of considered even playing what's the card? Reckless Greed in this. But I think at that point that's just kind of like too much. I don't know. So yeah, that's it for the spells. Now we're gonna go to the traps. We play first of all 3 copies of W Nebula Meteorite. So with this, you flip all your face down monsters face up, and during the end phase they go face down, or like the worms essentially. That's all you're playing. So your worms go face down, and then you draw cards up to the number of worms you flip face down, and you summon a Worm King from the deck. So this with your spells is essentially 10 draw cards, and sometimes I just feel like that's still kind of not enough in a way. So yeah, like that's kind of insane that you have 10 draw cards and sometimes it's just not enough. That's how I feel. And then we play 3 copies of Traptrixs to basically help get to this faster, get to our other 2 cards if we really need them. Or next 2 cards are going to show. If we need those, we can, get to them. I mean, well, 3 technically, but yeah. Traptrixs is, it's stupidly good. You play in any trap deck, gets around Ash, and, it's awesome. Like, it's a staple in, like, any trap deck, really. Then we play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Another just staple. It's like it has formats where it's not as strong, and I think right now it's okay. It's not horrible. It's not super amazing either, but it's okay. Now next up, I'm playing 3 copies of Warning Point, and this card put in so much freaking work. Like holy crap. This actually can potentially just stop your opponent's plays, which is awesome. Like, it's freaking crazy. So with this, you basically, when your opponent summons a monster, you flip it, and that monster has its like effects negated. It can't attack. It has to sit there on the field. It can't be used for fusion, synchro, XC, or link material. The only thing it can be used for is tribute summon. So yeah, yeah, like this. It's just put in so much work, and it's actually really cheap. I think this card's still like $5 a piece. So yeah, if you can afford this, like, definitely get it. Now, next up, 3 copies of Evenly Matched. So I did play like Witch's Strike this last locals. I took this out for Witch's Strike, and then just the Witch's Strike didn't do as much as I wanted, so I decided to put this back in. And like even this last locals, like this deck was actually holding up fairly well for quite some time against the Invoked, Dogmatica, Shaddoll match, Invoked Shaddolls with some Dogmatica package in there, like it held up fairly well, and I was very surprised. The issue that we had was I just wasn't getting to my worms fast enough. So yeah, that kind of sucked. And just the presence, or the field presence just wasn't aggressive enough. So there were times where like I'd burn through my resources, like not well, like I'd burn through my what you call it, like my back row. My worms would basically kind of get destroyed. And I just would I wish I had this, like, just to fully out the field that my opponent has. Um, Another thing that's really cool too is the fact that it has this like Time Thief through Doer has like some really freaking good synergy. So if you burn through back row and you have Time Thief through Doer, you don't have to worry about these. You can get around it, so that's nice. And then 3 copies of Solemn Warning, which was like the best one. Like, this put in so much work out of all the warnings. And I also am playing 3 copies of Judgment. Now, I was playing 3 copies of Strike at my last locals, and I ultimately decided to cut Strike and put this back in, because I took out, what was it, Witch's Strike for Pod Duality, and then after the tournament, just did a lot more testing. I decided to take out the strikes for the evenly matched. Strike was just kind of the worst one out of the warning the solemn cards here. Warning was the best because I could hit normal summons, and like hitting an Alistair with warning is like stupidly good. And then Judgment, like, basically just kind of like the best no card, I feel. So yeah, I don't know, like, just being able to really hit any summon off of this was nice. And then Judgment's great. The fact that Strike can't just hit a normal summon really kind of sucks, and that's kind of what was screwing me a bit. And then I was paying too much life points with all 9 warnings, so that was kind of an issue I had. So that's why I kind of just decided to drop the strikes. Now, for the extra deck, playing 3 copies of Time View 3 Doer. Honestly, this is like the best card with worms. Like, it's really good because being able to banish yourself until the end phase lets you do more Yagan and X plays, which is nice. Also can get around evenly matched, so that's pretty cool too. Stealing the top card of your opponent's deck was like awesome. This ended up stealing me like a lot of big things. Like, I ended up stealing like 2 invocations, different games. I stole a driver so I couldn't get gammaed. Yeah, like, I was stealing some really dumb bullshit with this. So definitely a 3 of, like, for sure, staple. If you're not playing Extrab, like, you at least gotta play 2. That's how I feel, at least 2. Then 3 Abyss Dweller, because it's kind of like one of the best, like, just the best rank 4 in general. 3 copies of Tornado Dragon, so I have some sort of backrow removal outside of evenly. 3 copies of Gaga Cowboy for, to just be able to 800, burn 800 for a game. The last card, I didn't really know what to put in, so I just played 3 Starleech Pydanimo. I actually really wanted to play Baguska, but I just didn't have 3 Baguskas. Couldn't find 3, and I kind of thought about after the tournament, like, I don't know if I really need the Baguskas. I feel like there's times where I like 2/3 of the time I just didn't need it. So, but yeah, I just threw this in because this is the only, like, one of the few cards I found a playset of. So yeah, it's not bad. Basically, like, kind of like, you know, a negate almost, because, you know, makes opponent's monsters here, negates the effects, then basically your opponent moves, he gets to draw a card, which is nice, so that's kind of cool. I just felt like it wasn't a bad option, so yeah. So yeah, guys, that's just it for the deck profile. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like I said, this is probably the best Worms are probably going to get until, you know, new direct support or, you know, just insane, you know, just regular trap, like infinite permanence. So, guys, go ahead and harpoon that subscribe button, harpoon that like button, and comment any comments y'all have. Link in the description down below to my Instagram. If you guys want to see some behind the scenes channel stuff, kinda, or, you know, just some other Yu-Gi-Oh stuff I'm working on, or, you know, just, I mean, I post stuff from my weekly fishing trips on there. So yeah, you guys get the idea. That cool stuff's there, and I will see y'all in the next video.